Hi there, Coach Alexa here. So I got a couple of questions in recently regarding running as we get older, and they're kind of interlinked in their answer. So I'm going to attempt to answer both of them in today's video today. First of which was about how to set appropriate goals as we get older. And the second one was about how to recover from sort of setbacks like illnesses and injuries. And the two are kind of interlinked. So setting appropriate goals, regardless of age, I'm really not a fan of like a 12-week marathon plan. It's like a marathon crash course. People end up not really enjoying it. And it also doesn't include any room for manoeuvre. Stuff happens in life, doesn't it? It might be, like we are in COVID times at the moment, quite a lot of unpredictability with work and family and all that sort of stuff. We might come down with a cold, we might get a tummy bug, we might eat a dodgy takeaway, we might get ill, we might get injured. A lot of things can happen, over the few months of a training plan. So the key for me as a coach, and probably influenced by my previous career as a project manager, is build in contingency. Not everything is going to go right the whole way through that training plan. So if you've got a bit of contingency, if you've got a bit of wiggle room, a bit of extra time factored into that training plan, that is going to really help you ride out those inevitable ups and downs that happen in life and with our health. So have a little bit of a think about where you are now, the goal that you've got in future, and is that enough time to get you from where you are currently to the goal that you have? I can help with that with bespoke training plans or ongoing coaching, but that's the really important thing. If you're really squishing the time scale on that and you've got a really challenging goal that's not that far away, you've got to really think carefully about how you're going to be able to achieve that. So adding in contingency, not ramping up the training so quickly, doing it nice and gently, which is great for loading and reducing injury, but also means that you can miss a couple of weeks, you can backtrack a little bit, and that's absolutely fine because things can get adjusted. Making sure you bake in those recovery weeks, rest days, all that sort of stuff, good practice as well. Recovering from setbacks, illnesses and injuries kind of play into that too, right? So one of the ways of reducing the impact that those things will have is to have that contingency in the training plan. So have to take a week off for a cold, doesn't matter. Had some contingency in my plan, I can move things around. The other thing about goals is whether or not you can have a kind of layered approach with goals, right? So as a coach, regardless of what my runner has told me, goal number one is get people to the start line of their race, feeling fit, healthy and uninjured. Goal number two, get them to the end of their race, hopefully having enjoyed it and not being a horrible a horrible experience. Then there might be a goal number 3, 4 and 5, which might be to do a little bit more with performance. So as an example, you might have a 2 hour 15 minute or a 2 hour half marathon goal. But if things don't go all well on the day, if the weather is horrible, if it's icy like it has been recently, if you've picked up a cold the week before, if you ended up completing on a house move 2 weeks before, if life has been really stressful, you're not going to be have a highest chance as hitting that goal for half marathon time. So have a think about having 2 or 3 different goals. My training has gone excellent. On the day I feel amazing, all of the stars align, everything's gone well for me, goal. And then maybe 1 or 2 others to allow for things haven't quite gone as well as I hoped, either in my preparation or on the day itself. So in terms of helping to kind of keep that preparation nice and predictable, how do we avoid? We've got sort of setbacks, illnesses and injuries. So setbacks, unexpected life stuff, a lot more of that going on in COVID world now, isn't there? So, changes to family situations, schooling, work, all that sort of stuff. Can we control it? No. The only thing we can do about it is build in that contingency and flexibility in our plan so that we can absorb it and roll with the punches a little bit. Illnesses. There are some things we can do to control that. Having a good nutrient-rich diet allows our body to be the most effective at fighting off any illnesses that we might get. Things that have been drilled into our brains, like frequent hand washing and surface cleaning and, all of that kind of hand hygiene side of things will reduce the risk of getting any illnesses, be it coughs, colds, gastro stuff and tummy bugs. An injury risk. So, strength training, properly planned training are really the two key stalwarts. So that's building up your loading, distance, intensity, so speed and frequency of runs gradually are all going to reduce your injury risk. So there's lots of different ways that we can try and help manage that. The final thing to add is if you've been to a physio before or had an injury before, keep up with those exercises. View it as prehabilitation, so avoiding that particular injury that you've had in the past from cropping up again. So keep up with those physio exercises. Even go to a physio or go and book in with a technique assessment with myself or another running coach. Look at your technique and see, are there any things that I can do to de-risk my injury risk in advance? So, you can work proactively on reducing that injury risk specifically for you as well. So those are a few things to think about. I think, again, they become more important as we get older as runners. But in reality, they're things that we should be thinking about all the time at any age. Hope that's helpful. Let me know any questions.